Imagine this, you're standing on stage, you're ready to open your mouth to sing that first note, and your mouth goes dry, like the desert. Kia ora and welcome back. My name's Stevie, your vocal coach for today, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through why we get a dry mouth and my number one tip for when you're actually standing on stage about to sing that first note, what you can do in order to combat it. So, let's get straight to the video. Firstly, dry mouth is completely normal when it comes to anxiety or stress. When we perform on stage, we activate our fight or flight response in our bodies, and this can cause our saliva glands to dry up. I'll put some links down in the description below for the papers that I found in relation to anxiety and stress and dry mouth. But you're here because you want to find out what you can do about it. So we're going to dive into number one, drink more water throughout the week. Well, not just water, but drink more fluids in general. There isn't one size fits all in terms of how much water we should drink, and we need to take into consideration coffee, tea, juice, milk, fruits, vegetables, and all the things that contain water. But on top of that, I want you to be thinking around 4 to 5 cups, so about a litre, 1.2 litres per day on top of those other fluids that you're taking in. Now, the reason why I say for you to drink steadily throughout the week is for your body to get used to it, because if you only drink a lot of fluids on the day of your performance, you're most likely going to need to pee a lot and very often. And it can kind of get uncomfortable when you're ready to get on stage. My second favorite tip is I want you to have your throat lozenges on hand. Now, this could be anything ranging from your favorite Haribo to lollipops, to I have some Gilo Revoice here, to pastels. I know that Ariana Grande is quite vocal about her love for a specific pastel that she likes to have. There isn't, again, one size fits all. There isn't one version for everybody, but just be sure to choose a flavor that you like. Now, the thing is to remember with a lozenge, what you're taking in is not going to actually get to the vocal folds. What's going to happen is the sucking on the lozenge is going to produce saliva and help to get your mouth nice and wet for your performance. Just note that if you are going to be using lozenges, don't get the ones with any numbing abilities in them. This isn't for a sore throat, okay? We want to be able to feel everything that we're singing. And I want you to think about steering clear of anything with menthol in it. I like to suggest to students really simple gummy bears or a lollipop are really great ways to, again, keep that saliva moving within the mouth. One thing you might not have thought of is to try papaya or pineapple. Either the juice or the fruit will do. Both of these fruits contain bromelain, which is an enzyme that can thin and cut through that thickened mucus. It's going to help to get that thinner mucus moving in the mouth and to activate those saliva glands. I do recommend that you try this out with plenty of time to spare before your performance though, because you never know what type of reaction you're going to have to these fruits. Breathing through your nose. It may seem like a really simple one, but when we breathe through the nose, we are humidifying the air before it reaches the vocal folds. Sometimes when we get nervous, we start to engage in shallow breathing here high in the chest. By breathing through the nose, we're going to be slowing down the rate of breathing. By slowing down the rate of breathing, we're also going to be slowing down our heart rate and calming us down for our performances. It's a win-win, really. Honey! Now, being from New Zealand, I bet you thought that I was going to put honey on this one. It doesn't necessarily have to be Manuka honey, although I do really love the taste of Manuka honey. Any honey will do because it is antibacterial and it does coat that lovely mouth and that pharynx area. Again, it's not actually touching your vocal folds, so anything like that. And sometimes honey is a little bit kinder than taking a lozenge, because there's nothing worse, and this has happened to me, than walking into an audition or a performance and having a lozenge stuck to the top of your mouth. I honestly did that and I had to turn around and go, hang on a second, and like pry it away from the roof of my mouth. It was very embarrassing. So sometimes I like to take honey instead because it's just going to dissolve in my mouth and it's much easier to kind of get rid of, and I'm not going to forget about it. You might love the taste of menthol. I know I definitely do, especially in like airwaves and things like that. But when it comes to your singing, I want you to try and avoid it a little bit. Now, menthol is great as a decongestant, and that's what it's going to do. It's going to dry up all of the mucus in the airways so that you can breathe better. But we're talking about dry mouth syndrome. So we want to make sure that we're not trying to dry everything out. We're trying to create more saliva. So menthol, for some people, might have the effect of drying. For other people, it won't. So again, try it out for yourself. I feel like that's a little bit contradictory, but there are plenty of fruit-flavored chewing gums if you prefer to chew chewing gum instead of a lozenge, again, to get that saliva activating. Some singers swear by it. Others don't like it at all. You may hear plenty of singing teachers going, don't drink coffee. Coffee's bad for your voice. I'm definitely not one of those people. But on your performance day, I want you to think about reducing your caffeine intake just a little bit. Coffee, black tea, green tea all contain caffeine. And this can raise our cortisol levels and our stress levels, which then brings us back to the whole stress might bring on dry mouth syndrome. So I'm someone that, for example, drinks 3 cups of coffee a day. So on my performance days, I cut that down to 2 cups, and then I have 1 cup of decaf, or I just drink a fruit tea instead. That's going to help us to regulate our stress and anxiety levels, especially if that's something that you struggle with before performances, like I do. Lastly, my number 1 tip, you are standing on stage, you are ready to sing that first note, and you feel like you're about to choke on your dry throat. I want you to do this really simple thing. While you're hearing your introduction to your music, I want you to stand there and just simply bite on the sides of your tongue. You can't even see that I'm doing that. Really gently though. You're not talking about bleeding into your mouth. You're talking about just activating those saliva glands. And if you bite gently on the sides of your tongue, that will most probably happen. So there you have it. Those are my 8 tips for combating your dry mouth for performances. But let me know down in the comments if you've got any others that you love to use before you go on stage. I'd love to add them to the list. And if you want to learn more about belt technique, then check out my free masterclass available in the description below. If you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button so that we can geek out about more vocal technique and I can help you with more vocal tips and tricks. Check out my video all about breathing for singing and how to sing better in pitch. I can't wait to see you here next time. Have an awesome rest of your day. Happy singing. Ka kite anō.